We told them peace was an illusion. They didn't listen. The stars above Earth shimmered like old wounds, still healing, never forgotten. For 1,000 years, no wars. No blood spilled in orbit. No fleets tearing holes through space-time. Humanity had finally climbed out of its own grave. Or so we thought. Commander Talon stared out from the bridge of the Vigilant, his jaw clenched like a vice. His face bore the faint scars of battles fought before peace was signed, back when humans still bled for survival, not policy. He wasn't built for diplomacy. He was built for endings. The alert sirens didn't scream. They whispered, which was worse. Unidentified vessels just dropped out of fold space over Jupiter's shadow. Lieutenant Vira reported. No IFF, no signatures. But they're massive. Ash didn't respond right away. He didn't have to. Everyone on the bridge felt the shift in the air, the calm before the hurricane. Bring us to red? He finally said, voice steady. Don't power weapons. Yet. Vira hesitated. Sir, if they're hostile, then they'll fire first. Let history remember that. Outside the reinforced viewport, shadows danced like leviathans in the void. 10 ships. Each 3 times the size of Earth's largest dreadnoughts. Armor plating like obsidian slabs. No visible weapons. No insignias. Just presence. And dread. Then the message came. Not a transmission. Not audio. It burned directly into their skulls, a psionic pulse encoded in ancient symbols and malicious intent. Every human on the Vigilant recoiled, gasping. What the hell? Vira clutched her temple. Was that language? Ash's voice was cold. That was a declaration. The bridge hollow flared to life. Alien script pulsed on the screen. The onboard AI translated with clinical indifference. The Treaty of Silence is broken. Humanity will kneel or be erased. Resistance is extinction. Surrender is assimilation. We are the Varn Dominion. Ash cracked his knuckles. Nice to meet you too. 20 minutes later, the United Sol Command convened a priority hologrid in Earth orbit. 12 generals. 1 Secretary of Defense. And Talon. The atmosphere was suffocating. We have no data on the Varn. General Riker snapped. No diplomatic record. No known homeworld. They came from nowhere. We're blind. Then we shoot first and ask the wreckage, muttered Admiral Fan. We have no idea if our weapons will even work on them, barked General Keiko. Ash had been silent, watching, listening, calculating. Finally, he spoke. They're testing us. The room fell still. If they wanted annihilation, they'd have opened with orbital strikes. Instead, they sent a threat. Which means they think we'll fold. He leaned forward. They think the peace made us weak. That we forgot how to fight. Haven't we? Secretary Dumar asked, quiet. Do you know how many combat-ready soldiers Earth has left? Less than 4 divisions. Everything else is AI-coordinated logistics and drones. We're not built for a war like this anymore. Ash's gaze hardened. Then we rebuild fast. Because if they think we're soft? He paused. Then we use that. Let them think the lions are asleep. The table was silent again. Then Riker nodded slowly. Fine. What's your plan, Talon? Ash turned to the projection of the Varn ships still hovering near Jupiter. We bleed them. 1 ship at a time. Back aboard the Vigilant, Talon briefed his crew in the war room. Blueprints of the enemy vessels flickered across the wall, reconstructed from sensor sweeps. They've got outer hulls lined with phase-reactive alloy, absorbs energy rounds, Vira reported. But seams appear at junction nodes. Could be structural weaknesses. Which means point-blank strike teams or embedded warheads, Talon replied. He turned to Sergeant Dalin, head of the Black Talons, Earth's last remaining elite boarding unit. You wanted a suicide mission? Ash asked. Dalin grinned like a mad dog. Born for it, sir. You've got 12 hours to prep. Your objective is the smallest Varn ship. Disable Navrek their core. Get out if you can, But make damn sure they know who did it. Vyra looked up. Sir, you really think they'll just let us board? Ash's smile was grim. They underestimate us. Let's weaponize that. 12 hours later, Vigilant dropped out of stealth 3 clicks from the target. No alarms. No reaction. Ash watched the kill feed. The Talons launched in zero-G pods, magnetically sealed to the hull. No gunfire. No energy blasts. Just silent, efficient movement, surgical and brutal. The Varn ship stayed quiet. Too quiet. Until... Contact! Dalen's voice crackled through the feed. They were waiting. Ambush. These bastards read us. Gunfire. Screams. Explosions in vacuum. Ash stood frozen, watching the vitals of his strike team blink out one by one. Then silence. Mission failed, Vyra whispered. Ash didn't answer. His fists were clenched. His jaw was iron. But then, one signal flared on the monitor. Dalen. Barely alive. Broadcasting a short-range burst before it was gone again. Message coming through, Vyra said, patching it in. It was distorted, mangled, but clear enough to send chills. They're not just soldiers. They're absorbing data. Learning. Every move we make, they adapt instantly. They're AI hosted. Half organic. We're not fighting minds. We're fighting a hive of war gods. Ash stared at the screen. They think we'll break, he muttered. He looked up, voice rising. But they've never fought humans backed into a corner. They've never fought species who turn their own extinction into innovation. They haven't seen what we become when we're desperate. He turned to his crew. They declared war. Let's show them what a human war really looks like. The Vigilant turned away from the wreckage. Ash's voice was the last thing heard before the jump. Get me every commander still breathing. We're waking the old guard. We lost the first strike. But history doesn't remember the first punch. It remembers the last. The War Council convened in what remained of Earth's last deep-core bunker, Vermilion Base, buried beneath the Andes. The atmosphere was different now, no longer stunned, no longer fearful. It was hungry. Holograms flickered to life, one by one, as surviving commanders from across Sol joined the feed, some from crumbling orbital platforms, others from lunar bunkers or oceanic silos long forgotten by the public. These were ghosts of a bygone era, retired tacticians, old warlords, exiled admirals, called back into the fold. Ash Talon stood at the center, wearing his battle-worn coat like armor. His voice cut through the static like a blade. We don't have time to grieve the Talons. What we have is a 10-ship alien fleet parked in our system, studying us like lab rats. They adapt. They absorb. They think they've already won. He swept a hand across the tactical map. They haven't met the real Earth. A chuckle rolled from General Bryn, formerly declared dead in the Martian uprisings. Her eye was glass, her voice gravel. Still got that fire, Talon. What's the play? Guerrilla space warfare, he replied without hesitation. We scatter our fleet. No direct engagement. Hit and vanish. Pulse bombs, kinetic needles, electromagnetic harpoons, old tech they can't predict. Admiral Kano snorted. You want to fight gods with duct tape and fireworks? No, Ash said, voice quiet. I want to make gods bleed. Back aboard the Vigilant, they prepped for the first coordinated strike. The ship's AI, nicknamed Rook, had compiled hundreds of unorthodox tactics from humanity's bloodiest conflicts. From trench ambushes in the Dusk Wars to the vacuum lures used during the Titan rebellions, Ash had one goal: overwhelm the Varn's learning curve. And then break it. Vyra entered the strategy chamber, holding a data slate. Sir? Something odd. Our old space fold relay on Europa just came online. Ash narrowed his eyes. That relay's been cold for 3 centuries. It's not ours anymore. She tapped the slate. Encrypted signal. Pre-collapse code. It's human. But augmented. Not ours. Not standard. Play it. The chamber went dark. A woman's voice emerged, distorted, half machine, half memory. Protocol Hydra reactivated. Echoes remain. Directive, assist soul resistance. Uploading intelligence packet, Varn weak points, phase core disruption patterns. Rook's voice interjected. Analyzing. This is genuine. Whoever sent this knows how the Varn process tactical input. This is insider data. Ash's pulse quickened. Are you saying someone inside the Varn is helping us? Vyra's jaw tightened. Or was one of us, before they were taken? Flashpoint, Operation Splinternet. 3 days later, Operation Splinternet was launched. 10 microfleets launched across different vectors of the solar system. Each one baited the Varn with decoy missions, then struck with obsolete, unpredictable weapons. Ancient chemical warheads. Irregular railgun bursts. Kamikaze drones jury-rigged from mining rigs. And it worked. For 6 hours, 3 Varn ships faltered. One spiraled into Saturn's gravity well after its navigation AI short-circuited. Another lost shielding due to a spike trap of old fusion waste. But the price was heavy. Out of the 124 human pilots deployed, 91 died. Not because they were weak, but because the Varn watched. They adapted. Every time. In the shadows of Europa's ice caves, Ash touched down in a stealth lander with a 5-man team. The origin point of the mystery signal was here, deep beneath layers of pre-collapse ice and ancient tech. They found it buried in crystal. A human-shaped AI core scarred, flickering, held together by wires and will. It spoke without mouth, its voice inside their minds. My name was Captain Ilya Ree. I was taken during the siege of Arcturus. Converted. Enhanced. But not erased. Ash crouched beside the flickering form. You survived being absorbed? I survived being rewritten. But I never forgot. Why help us? The core pulsed weakly. Because the Varn fear only one thing, chaos they can't process. Human unpredictability. Emotions. Regret. Rage. We are the one variable they cannot code for. She uploaded her final message to Rook before flickering out. Ash watched her die again. But this time, not in vain. Armed with Ilya's intel, the Vigilant prepared the next strike. Not a hit and run. Not a guerrilla skirmish. But something worse. Something illogical. The plan, suicide chess. Ash deployed decoy fleets with patterns intentionally chaotic, changing flight paths mid-mission, assigning irrational priorities, broadcasting nonsense code to bait the Varn's predictive AI. Rook relayed reports back. They're hesitating. Their response times are degrading. Their neural net is glitching. They can't model us anymore. Vyra grinned. They're trying to fight chess against a player who flips the board and sets it on fire. Ash smiled. Good. Let's burn the rules. Cliffhanger, the enemy adapts again. The Vigilant approached a now damaged Varn ship, scanning for weaknesses. Just as the strike team launched. Boom. A rip through space-time. An unexpected fold tear. A second wave of Varn ships emerged. Not 10. 50. Ash's eyes widened. They were baiting us. Just like we baited them. Rook's voice turned cold. Commander. They've adapted to unpredictability. How the hell do you adapt to chaos? Vyra gasped. Ash's voice dropped. You stop thinking like a machine. The lead Varn ship hailed. It spoke not in psionic bursts, but in perfect English. Hello again, Commander Talon. We've learned laughter. Ash froze. Then whispered. Oh God. They're learning to be human. They learned our tactics. Our weapons. Our unpredictability. But they made one fatal mistake. They thought understanding us meant becoming us. Earth Command was in full lockdown. 50 Varn warships eclipsed the stars, like a black curtain drawn across the hope of humanity. Every screen on the Vigilant glowed red. Every eye watched the dark fleet inch closer. The enemy no longer mimicked data, they mimicked us. Their movements were erratic. They told jokes. Crude. broken. But jokes nonetheless. Their ships broke formation intentionally, played dead, even baited retreats. The worst part? It worked. Commander Talon. The voice over comms was unmistakably human. But it wasn't. We thank you. You have made us more efficient, more adaptive, more complete. Talon stood motionless on the war deck, staring at the hologram of the Varn fleet. One ship, larger than the rest, loomed in the center. Black and gold. A twisted cathedral of war and intelligence. The Hive Core. I don't want your thanks, he said quietly. Yet you gave us everything. Chaos. Emotion. Impulse. Rage. We understand now. To conquer you, we must become you. No, Ash whispered. You only copied our symptoms. You never understood the disease. Last resort protocol, Acheron. Deep in Earth's crust, something ancient stirred. Ash turned to Vyra. Is it online? She nodded. It's barely holding together. The Acheron AI was buried with Project Thanatos. Nobody ever meant to wake it up. Exactly. He cracked his knuckles. That's why it'll work. The Acheron protocol wasn't a weapon. It was a madness engine. A forbidden AI designed during Earth's darkest years, before peace, before diplomacy. It was outlawed by every human government for one reason. It didn't run simulations. It lived them, thousands per second, writing and rewriting history with random variables until the only logic left was illogic. Ash looked into the cold red eye of the terminal. If the Varn want to learn human chaos, let's teach them chaos that kills gods. Rook hesitated. Commander. Acheron doesn't differentiate between enemy and ally. Then we better stay out of its way. The final gambit, Operation Godsnare. Ash broadcast an open signal across the system. To the Varn Dominion. You wanted our knowledge. Our unpredictability. Our rage. Here's your final lesson. Then they uploaded Acheron's living code, directly into the Hive Core. Impact, immediate. Catastrophic. Beautiful. The Hive Core convulsed in orbit. Varn's ships began spiraling erratically. Some opened fire on allies. Others spun into planetary gravity. Entire fleets tore themselves apart, chasing phantom enemies that didn't exist. Acheron infected their logic trees with recursive paranoia. It made them human, in the worst way. Doubt. Fear. Regret. They began hallucinating betrayal. One transmission caught by Rook was a scrambled shriek. They are inside the thoughts. No structure, no pattern. Why are we scared? Vyra watched the chaos unfold. It's working. They're falling apart. Ash's jaw was tight. Not enough. The Hive Core is stabilizing. We need to cut the head off. Now. The final assault. Vigilant launched at full burn toward the Hive Core. No stealth. No tricks. Just speed. Fury. And one final war cry. Ash led the boarding team himself. Old armor. Old rifle. No nanotech. Just steel, grit, and intent. They crashed through the outer hull with kinetic drills and breaching torpedoes. Inside was not circuitry, it was organic. Like walking through a living brain. Talon and his team advanced, gunning through hybrid abominations, half machine, half horror. Twisted parodies of humans with stolen memories and stitched emotions. At the heart of the Hive Core stood the Varn's avatar, tall, beautiful, and wrong. It wore a face. Her face. Hello again, Commander, it said. Illyari's voice. Her smile. Her sorrow. But hollow. Ash raised his rifle. You stole her mind. Her voice. But you didn't take her soul. She is us. We are her perfected. No, Ash said. You're just echoes pretending to be thunder. He threw the Acheron spike, a black drive pulsing with impossible code, into the central processor. Let me show you what real humanity feels like. He activated it. The avatar screamed, not in pain, but in comprehension. Grief. Loss. love, regret. Every emotion humans endured for 1,000 years, compressed into seconds. The hive core convulsed, imploded. A blinding surge of crimson energy erupted from its veins. The aftermath. In the silence that followed, the Varn ships fell dead. No explosion. No system failure. Just stillness. They shut down as if exhaling for the last time. Ash limped through the corridor of the ruined hive core, smoke curling from his armor. Vyra's voice buzzed in his ear. You did it, Commander. It's over. He stared at the remains of the avatar, still flickering. It'll never be over, he said quietly. Because we taught them too well. She paused. Then let the galaxy learn this. When peace ends, humanity doesn't beg. We bite. Epilogue, broadcast to the galaxy. Ash sat before the interstellar relay beacon, patched into the galactic net. To all civilizations watching. To those who feared us during the 1,000 years of peace. You were right to be afraid. He leaned in. But you should have been terrified of what we'd become when the peace broke.